Good afternoon, this is David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire, and we're pleased to be with you for another video. We just got back off our minimalist camp. We had a great time, and we'll be putting a video up with a bunch of slides from that camp for you all to see. But I wanted to take this opportunity because we got back to go ahead and show you how I take care of my pack. I've had a lot of comments on my gear never looks used, and you know, how do I keep my gear in such good shape? And so what I want to do is show you what I do at the end of each trip in order to get my gear back in shape, make sure it's ready for the next time I go out. So what I'll do is I'll just start in my pack here, then I'll unload the pack as it was packed out. I've taken a couple things out of here to put in my kit. This water filter wasn't used. My headlamp was used. So what I'll do, just take a dry cloth, kind of damp. I'll just wipe it off to get all the dirt off of it. And I'll set the, wipe the straps and everything. Check it to make sure that it's still working. All the lights are working. So it's good to go. And of course I've got a pair of spare batteries in here somewhere. When I come across them, I'll set them with that. So I'll know right where that is next time. This bandana was not used on the trip, so that's good to go, as this bandana was not used. My notebook, my coffee filters, which stay in my pack, and I did use a Berkey water filter bottle. This is an extra water filter for it. This filter was not taken out, so all I got to do is just wipe the dust off the pack, set that aside for next use. Now, because we got home the day before yesterday, and it rained all day yesterday, I have already cleaned my Berkey water bottle, just rinsed it out, backwashed the filter to make sure that it was clean and that everything was good there. I laid it upside down in the drain to dry and put it back together and put it away. So that's the top pouch. Go down the side pouch here. My gloves, they weren't used too hard, so they're fine. My hat, I did use that at night because it got a little chilly, so I'll throw that with the laundry to get cleaned up. Those head rags weren't used, and that's all in that pouch. On this side, I did wear this bandana, so I'll put that into the wash as well. One thing I should say, when I come home, I take my clothes off at the door and I put them right in the wash. The reason for that is because we have a lot of ticks and chiggers and different things down in the bush where we were. So I don't want to take that inside and have ticks all over the house. So my belt came off, my tools on my belt, emptied my pockets, put those clothes right into the laundry. Okay, my first aid kit. We were blessed we didn't have to use a first aid kit, so that wasn't even opened. But at a later time I will check out to make sure it's restocked, that all of the items that are in there that may have a date of expiration on them are current, and I'll do that before the next trip. And I think that's about everything in this pocket. My dental floss. Okay, so that pocket's empty. When I finish with my pockets, what I do, I re-zip them up so my pack is closed up. Now if there's any dirt inside the pack, I'll clean that out as well, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. Let's go to the top of the pack. This is my personal kit. I did use the things in my personal kit, but I've already taken that apart and cleaned it as well. Things like rinsing out my toothbrush under the tap, letting it dry, putting it back. This is my cup, and I did use this at camp. It has not been cleaned yet, as is the holder. So we'll take that out, and in a few minutes we'll clean that. This is the rest of my clothes, and I've got them in a stuff sack, so it's unbelievable how many clothes you can put in here. But there's quite a bit of clothing in here that we carried out extra on the trip. And the biggest thing, I guess, is my fleece shirt, which came in handy. The temperatures got down to about 50 degrees out there in the camp, so that's just been rolled back up. And again, that will go into the laundry, as any other dirty clothing that I have that's in here. Shirt, extra pair of socks, and a pair of swim shorts came in handy as well. I also will throw this stuff sack into the laundry because the stuff sack has been holding some dirty clothing. It gets sweaty. Listen, salt is really bad for your gear. You sweat a lot out there in the bush if it's hot, so you want to make sure your things are clean, that they're free of salt. So all that will go into the laundry. This is my poncho. I didn't have to use this at camp. I know it's in good repair because we did a video on that right before we went to camp. So I'm just going to leave that right in its sack, and that'll be ready to go back in the pack. These are my tie downs for my hammock. They're in good repair. I've already checked them, but I just want to check for frays, make sure there's nothing the matter with these, so next time I'm ready to pack out, they'll be ready to go. My hammock, which we'll take care of in just a few minutes. My saw, which was used, and we'll take care of that in a few minutes. This is just a stuff sack. Now the reason I got this, better take care of this because I gathered some tinder while we were out there on the way in. So I'm going to want to take, this is actually a little bit of mint. It wasn't tinder, it was some mint. We had some mint tea, so I'll take that out. Probably have a cup of mint tea later. But I'll take and I'll turn that stuff sack inside out. Just shake it out a little bit, and here I've got some hot water. Now let me clean some of this stuff off the table, and once I clear it off the table, we'll come back and show you how we clean up the gear. Now to do my basic cleaning up, all that I use is a bucket of water, a rag, a Brillo pad, and if we have it, we also use what's called a magic sponge. And for my knives and other metals, I use something called a crazy cloth. This is available at your grocery store. It's also available online, and it's great. It takes good care of metal. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is this stuff sack that, well, you know, the first thing I'm going to do is my cordage. I did use a couple of these hanks of cordage, so I'm just going to pull these hanks out. I'm going to go ahead and clean them just with a moist, this is not wet, just damp, very, very lightly dampened cloth. Pull my cordage through there, and then I'll set it aside to dry for a few minutes while I clean the rest of my gear. I use that hank, and I used this hank while we were out there. These were my my lines over my hammock that held my tarp up. So I just clean these out. And also on the tarp, I probably won't show cleaning that today. We used a plastic tarp out there, and so I'll just take and hang that over a line, wash that off, wipe down the cords, let it dry in the sun, and then put that away for the next use as well. Alright, my canteen cup, really nice cup from GSI. This is a Halumite cup, and it's called the Halulite Minimalist. I just take, clean it out just like you would do any dishes. But even if this was already cleaned at camp, I want to clean this out. Make sure that it's nice and clean, that there's not a lot left in it. And normally I would do this in the kitchen sink. I'm doing it out here so you guys can see the process. But there you go, nice and clean. Just had a rag with that. I'll do the same thing with the holder. Clean that out well. And then this holder will have to dry. I just want to get any dirt off of there, get any kind of marks off of there. So it's ready to go next time. Keep my gear in good shape. Clean the bottom, which is a rubberized bottom. The inside's nice and clean, so we'll just set that aside to dry. The next major project, and I have done a little bit of this already for a visual demonstration, is my canteen. Now I cooked in this, we boiled and purified our water in this, and this is what it looked like before I began to clean it. Well, in order to save some time, I cleaned this side just a little bit last night, and you can see with a Brillo pad and just a little bit of elbow grease, you can do a pretty good job on a canteen. Gets it right back into perfect shape. So I'm just going to clean this for a few seconds, and once that I get this to where it's pretty clean, we'll be back with you.